Thanks for watching Isekai Haven.
Our story begins with a girl named Nishino. She wakes up and is ready to start her day. As she opens the door, she gets an intense flashback of her past. This startled and upset her, so her day was off to a great start. Her personal driver was waiting for her outside. The driver drops her off at the school. Immediately everyone begins to admire her. Upon entering school, it is revealed that she doesn't like or appreciate a boy who goes by the name Kageno. He has terrible grades and poor athletic ability. He can't even pronounce her family name, or recognize her most times. He doesn't even seem to look at her while communicating, while the others admire her wholeheartedly. But even after trying to ignore him, she could not. She could not seem to get him off his mind. In the next scene, Nishino talks about her past, which ends up revealing that she left her career and studies because of some scandal. This forced her to hide behind a false mask. When school period ends, she calls her driver, but he fails to pick it up. Some goons had killed her driver, and she had not realized. After waiting for quite some time, she decides to walk back home alone. She soon faces the same goons that killed her driver. Before getting abducted by the goons, Nishino sees Kageno before becoming unconscious due to the effects of anesthesia. The goons were trying to ransom her because of her wealthy father. This is the second time she has been kidnapped for the same thing. When one of the goons tried to assault her, Kageno busts through the glass ceiling announcing himself as a stylish thug slayer. While fighting the last goon in the room, he recognizes Kageno as the ski-masked berserker who walloped the biker gangs with a metal bar. After finishing off the last goon, Kageno rescues Nishino, as she doesn't recognize him at all by looking at him. He advises her not to walk home alone the next time and disappears from the scene. Nishino informs the police and her parents about the event, who then takes all measures so that the case doesn't go public. The next day, Nishino meets Kageno in the school again, and this time he is able to pronounce her name correctly as she guesses that he is also living a masked life just like her. In the next scene, tragic news spreads all over the city that a high school student named Minoru Kageno was run over by a truck. Then the scene reveals that Kageno wanted to be a hero since he was a child, and to become stronger he did everything necessary, but he acted like a loser at school. He dreams of exceeding the limits of his human abilities as he aspires not to get vaporized by a nuclear bomb. This is the story on how Kageno's dream of being the Eminence of Shadow really began. Previously, Kageno dies in a tragic car accident in his previous life. Like all stories, he is reborn. This time as the son of Baron Kageno, an aristocrat living out in the boonies. For generations, this family has been practicing magic and creating dark knights. They all have high hopes for Kageno as well. Even though he has the abilities of a pro, he lives in the shadows of his elder sister, Claire Kageno, as a background character. One night during his mission, he noticed a possessed decomposing body. It was still alive in a cage, and after noticing a familiar wavelength coming from it, he decided to experiment on it with his magic. He succeeds in containing the magical overload, and the blob turns into a beautiful girl. He explains that the cult of Diablos is the one to be blamed for making her life a living hell, a group of zealots plotting to revive the great demon. Kageno introduces himself as a shadow to the girl and invites her to join his force as he is working to defeat the same group of people. The girl, fully trusting, is then named Alpha. Alpha has a request. She believes Kageno will need to find the other hero descendants and take them under his wing to expand the organization. After some consideration, Kageno accepts. They are now called Shadow Garden, after the creation of his group. Kageno's sister goes missing, and of all the days, it's on the same day she is to say farewell to her family and prepare for her enrollment in the Midgar Academy for Dark Knights. All clues point to her sister being kidnapped by the cult of Diablos. Kageno and his organization form a plan to locate the remaining hideouts. Claire flees from the hideout with minor injuries, while Kageno and his companions flawlessly and easily defeat all the cult followers. After killing the main culprit, Kageno gets a locket containing the picture of his daughter Milia, which he kept close to him. His sister and his group of companions bid their farewell, but this won't be the last time they meet again. After some time, the girls reveal troubling info about the cult of Diablos. They explain to Kageno that the cult is an enormous secret organization running on a global scale. We are taken back to Kageno's previous life. We realize how serious RMC is in terms of gaining power. We are shown how Kageno committed suicide as he was striving for power in his previous life. He refuses to have the same outcome. At the age of 15, Kageno gets admitted to the same academy as his sister, which revolves around a medieval-style hierarchical society. During his first days at school, he was tricked into making a bet with his friends at school. The rules are simple. He is supposed to confess his love to the most sought-after girl in school, who is Princess Alexia, and suffer her brutal rejection. This wouldn't be hard, he thought. But like all main characters, he is too hot to handle. His plan fails miserably and Alexia accepts his confession. With little hesitation, the princess transfers him to Section 1 of the Royal Bushin fencing classes. This way he gets to train with the princess herself in traditional fencing. During this time, it is revealed that Princess Alexia's elder sister is one of the strongest and best dark knights and an instructor for Section 1. Turns out she is to be engaged with some bum she does not like. So, the princess has a request of Kageno. They will pretend and act like a couple until the candidate loses his patience. On top of this, he will be paid handsomely. The broke boy is now happy. Weeks end up passing by. Kageno is still acting as her boyfriend, since he needs the money to fund his own private operations. Things fall apart as a confrontation unfolds on the train. Their relationship finds an untimely end. They are in deep feces. The instructors gather Kageno and his friends. They are then interrogated by their instructors, demanding the whereabouts of Princess Alexia.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this.